Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, not much good depending on your location. Please join in the struggle to liberate our people from the contraption. Like and share videos. Nuro luayo, na nuro luayo. Nuro luayo, na nuro luayo. Ọ dịghị mgbe ike mmadụ ga-akarị ike Chukwu. Ọ dịghị mgbe ike Naịjirịa ga-akarị ike Biafra. Nna nuro, onye kere ụwa nuro luayo. Nna nuro, Olisa binigwe nuro akwayo. Now, the news updates.
They hate us when we speak the truth about the Islamic Caliphate via the Fulani headsmen coming to the land to Islamize us and take over our land. We kept on shouting they were coming. Our leaders, Nnamdi Kanu, Simon Ekpa, Dr. Ngozorabweze, they've been screaming and telling the whole world, yelling at the top of their voice that the enemies are coming. Today they have come. And the Biafra land will be the last battling ground. Today as we speak, the Yoruba land is gone. They are everywhere in Yoruba land. Sharia is now in Yoruba land. And also in the Middle Belt, places like Plateau, Benue. This is just very close to the borders of Biafra. Watch this now, come back.
We have yet another horrific massacre against Christians in Nigeria to report on. 27 people, including a 3-year-old girl, have been killed in the most barbaric of ways. Masara Kim, a reporter for Truth Nigeria, joins us now. Masara, what can you tell us about this absolutely barbaric atrocity?
Yeah, so in the early hours of yesterday, that's July the 14th, a group of terrorists shouting Allahu Akbar on a long convoy of motorcycles, estimated by locals to be between 30 to 40, swarmed the peaceful town of Bindi, located about 35 miles southwest of Jos, the capital of Plateau State, killing at least at the moment 27 people that have been identified, majority of whom were burned alive in their homes, including a 3-month-old baby and a 3-year-old baby. In my report for Truth Nigeria, I mentioned the 3-year-old victim without realizing that as I left, the body of a 3-month-old baby was also identified, and the search has continued with many more members of the community, many more residents still unaccounted for at the moment.
Homeowners in the UK with two
left. The body of a 3-month-old baby was also identified, and the search has continued with many more members of the community, many more residents still unaccounted for at the moment.
Burned alive. What do you mean? They were trapped in their house? I mean, what exactly? I don't even. As a father, this is disgusting. But what can you tell us about that detail? Burned alive. What do you mean?
Yeah, so these terrorists swarmed communities, broke into homes, and literally poured gas. They poured fuel on the sleeping residents and set the houses on fire. I mean, a local pastor who spoke to us, I shared his photo with you, said he was hiding in a gold room just within his compound of 2 brick buildings when they broke into his flats where 9 members of his family were sleeping, and he could literally hear them screaming and shouting for help, but absolutely no one could come to their help because the terrorists, more than 30 of them, had swarmed the compound. Some of them had gone into the rooms where these innocent residents were sleeping, and they had literally poured fuel on them and set the house on fire. So he could literally hear them screaming on top of their voices and shouting for help, but definitely literally no one came to their help until they could no longer scream, they could no longer breathe. And in fact, when I got to that compound earlier at sunrise yesterday, the bodies of these victims were still smoking. You know, the houses were still burning and their bodies were still smoking. And many of the videos that I've shared with you might not be good for the screen, but I mean, it's important to understand the horrifying nature of these attacks, which, by the way, follow a pattern of violence by these terrorists who have killed more than 1,000 people in the last 10 months. Just in Plateau State alone. Genocide deniers again would like to say that no, this is just another instance of sedentary farmers clashing with semi-nomadic herders who happen to be members of the Fulani ethnicity. But no, this attack happened and started from 3 a.m. and lasted up to 5 a.m. Nobody was in their farm. Nobody was clashing with anybody. Nobody was, in fact, these innocent babies and women and children that were hacked down and burned alive on their beds. They were nowhere at a place where, that qualifies as a battleground or battlefield.
Listen.
That, one can say, oh yes, this was a clash. And even if there is anything like a clash going on, what clash happens at that time of the night? And in fact, it was these terrorists who came to the residence of these Christians, and then they hacked down and burnt several people, including innocent babies, who, by the way, don't even have any understanding of any situation whatsoever. Neither do they have any strength and even the charisma, the strength to carry any weapon and go into battle. So, of course,
let's hold it there. You see, I understand why he's trying to stress that point. But unfortunately, members of the Fulani Caliphate, when you go to the UN to bring up these cases, they say, oh no, don't mind them in Africa. They are still a backward country. What is happening is a farmer and herders clash. Yes, the herders, they come from the Fulani enclave. But these are farmers and herders clash. You go down to the ICC, it's the same problem. They've embedded in all those organizations members from their tribe. Even down to the AU, the African Union, you go down there and make a claim, your cases are not even picked up. Your cases are dead on arrival. Why? Because one of the so-called appointees of being the secretariat is a member of the caliphate or appointed by the caliphate, the Fulani Caliphate. Britain knew about this. In the 1700s, they knew about a problem. They knew the mandate given to the Fulani Caliphate by the one they call Usman Dan Fodio, a jihadist who came all the way from the Arab country with himself, his soldiers, his Islamic soldiers, his concubines, his wives. They came to take over the land called Nigeria, and he promised that the Quran must be dipped into the Red Sea. As far as they can go and match, the land belongs to them and was given to them by their Allah. So they know all these problems, but unfortunately, Nigerians, those that believe in Nigeria, they are the problem as well. They believe in these tribal sentiments, that when a particular tribe is speaking about the ills of the Fulani Caliphate happening in their own land, the other tribe will now see it as an opportunity to parley with the Fulani tribe and say, hey, ignore the Biafran tribe. We're here to work with you. We shall work with you. You be the president while we be the vice president. Let's come, let's have a partnership. And together we shall deal with that stubborn tribe. We'll deal with them. And before you know it, this is why this is a never-ending story in that so-called Nigeria. Until we, the Biafrans, we chose to stand our ground. We said enough is enough.
My people, on don't hear them now. What do you make of it? Drop your comments. But remember, it's Biafra or nothing. Bye for now.